time for the quickest Venga ever. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Venga, Venga. Venga, Venga. What's the time? What's the time? Mr. Wolf. Pumpkin. Pumpkin. Are you keeping up? I'm going really quick. Hula, hula. Hula, hula. But darling, I love you. But darling, I love you. Boom. Boom. You bet you are. You bet you are. I'm looking for the man who's got my pa. I'm looking for the man who's got my pa. Small as a mouse. As small as a mouse. You bet you are. Pumpkin. Pumpkin. Oh la la. Oh la la. Oh no. Oh no. Uno dos. Uno dos. I'm looking for the man who's got my pa. I'm looking for the man who's got my pa. I'm looking for the man who's got my pa. But darling, I love you. But darling, I love you. Uno. Uno dos. Uno dos. Boom. Save the world. Save the world. The dragon is coming. The dragon is coming. The dragon is coming. The dragon is coming. How'd you go? How'd you go? How'd you go? How'd you go? Venga, Venga. Hula, hula. Did you keep up? That's the fastest Venga, Venga ever. Yeah. Today's poem I'm going to read to you is called The King's Breakfast, and it's written by A. Milne. Here we go. The king asked the queen, and the queen asked the dairymaid, could we have some butter for the royal slice of bread? The queen asked the dairymaid. The dairymaid said, certainly, I'll go and tell the cow now before she goes to bed. The dairymaid, she curtsied and went and told the ordinary, don't forget the butter for the royal slice of bread. The ordinary said sleepily, you'd better tell His Majesty that many people nowadays like marmalade instead. The dairymaid said, fancy, and went to Her Majesty. She curtsied to the Queen and she turned a little red. Excuse me, Your Majesty, for taking of the liberty, but marmalade is tasty if it's very thickly spread. The Queen said, oh, and went to His Majesty. Talking of the butter for the royal slice of bread, many people think that marmalade is nicer. Would you like to try a little marmalade instead? The king said, bother, and then he said, oh dearie me. The king sobbed, oh dearie me, and went back to bed. Nobody, he whimpered, could call me a fussy man. I only want a little bit of butter for my bread. The queen said, there, and went to the dairymaid. The dairymaid said, there, and went to the shed. The cow said, there, I didn't really mean it. Here's milk for his porringer and butter for his bread. The queen took the butter and brought it to His Majesty. The king said, butter, eh? And bounced out of bed. Nobody, he said, as he kissed her tenderly. Nobody, he said, as he slid down the banisters. Nobody, my darling, could call me a fussy man, but I do like a little bit of butter on my bread. So, this is time for, join in with me, Venga, Venga. Do you know what? I love saying that. So, it's time for Venga, Venga. As you know, we always have a chance to do it in class. So, this time, I think I'm just going to play the game. Venga, Venga. Venga, Venga. I'm going to mix it up. Ooh la la, ha ha. Ooh la la. The dragon is coming. Ooh la la. But darling, I love you. Pumpkin, pumpkin, pumpkin. Ooh la la. Ooh la la. As small as a mouse. Aha! You thought I was going to go with elephant first, didn't you? Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. As small as a mouse. As small as a mouse. As big as an elephant. As big as an elephant. Save the world. Save the world. I'm looking for the man who's got my pa. Hula, hula. Hula, hula. The dragon is coming. As small as a mouse. Oh no. Don't let me trick you. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Uno, dos, haha. Uno, dos. Here we go. Boom. 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 Ah, haha. Ah. Ah. I'm looking for the man who's got my pa. I'm looking for the man who's got my pa. You bet you are. Yeah, I think that's enough, Venga. Shall we move on to something else now? All right then, let's go. I want to tell you a little something before I read to you the poem to share. When I was little, I had a beautiful big garden. I used to call it an upstairs, downstairs garden because I had the downstairs bit and then you went up a few steps and there was the upstairs. And in the upstairs bit of the garden was my favourite thing, which was my swing. Oh my goodness, it was red and blue and I loved it so much. And I used to push myself higher and higher till I could see right above the houses. So this poem is all about a swing and I love it. It's written by a man called Robert Louis Stevenson. You might have heard of him. So he was a bloke who wrote poems, he wrote stories, he wrote all sorts of things. And he wrote this called The Swing. So I'm just going to go for it because it's so much fun. Have a listen. The Swing by Robert Louis Stevenson. How do you like to go up in a swing, up in the air so blue? Oh, I do think it the pleasantest thing ever a child can do. Up in the air and over the wall till I can see so wide. Rivers and trees and cattle and all over the countryside. Till I look down on the garden green, down on the roof so brown. Up in the air I go flying again, up in the air and down. Oh, it's so much fun. I love it because it's got lots of movement. You can really imagine a child on the swing, swinging up and down and seeing all these wonderful things as they went higher and lower and higher and higher. And oh, I love it so much. It's got lots of movement. It makes me feel really happy and full of joy because I'm remembering those memories when I was about your age and on my swing a long time ago. But also, I just think it's so much fun to say. So I'm going to read it again and I want you to see how it makes you feel because you know that's always my starting point with poems. How does this poem by Robert Louis Stevenson make you feel? Have a listen. The Swing by Robert Louis Stevenson. How do you like to go up in a swing, up in the air so blue? Oh, I do think it's the pleasantest thing ever a child can do. Up in the air and over the wall till I can see so wide. Rivers and trees and cattle and all over the countryside. Oh, I love it. Till I look down on the garden green, down on the roof so brown. Up in the air I go flying again, up in the air and down. Oh my, sorry, it's just so much fun. So hopefully it made you feel happy inside. And also you'll find out that when it comes to saying the words, how you're feeling inside gets reflected is the same as how you can say the words. So if you really think about how this poem makes you feel, that feeling affects the way that you say the words. And those words sound a little bit different because of the feeling you've got. Oh, I love it. So I'm going to read it again and I'm going to share with you my actions. So I need to prop my words, make sure I don't knock it over. There's lots of swinging. So have a listen to the words and watch the actions, okay? The Swing, for those of you that want, by Robert Louis Stevenson. How do you like to go up in a swing, up in the air so blue? Oh, I do think it's the pleasantest thing ever a child can do. Up in the air and over the wall till I can see so wide. Rivers and trees and cattle and all over the countryside. Till I look down on the garden green, down on the roof so brown. Up in the air I go flying again, up in the air and down. What do you think? Did you hear there was a couple of words in there that was a bit like, oh, Miss Naomi, what? I'm not sure what that means. What's that about? Pleasantest. Pleasantest. So if somebody is pleasant, it means that they're quite happy, very nice, great person to be around. So Robert Louis Stevenson says in his first verse, oh, I do think it's the pleasantest thing. Pleasantest. Can you say that? Pleasantest. So it's the nicest thing, the happiest thing, the joyfulest thing to do is to go up and down on a swing. Yeah, so I love that. So that's what the word pleasantest means. Yeah, it's the best feeling of joy. It's the biggest feeling of joy. So it comes from the word pleasant, and pleasantest is the best. Okay? There is another word in here as well. Cattle. Do you know what cattle is? Cattle is a word that we use to describe a group of something. Yeah? Are you getting it? No, not a group of pencils. No, no. Not a group of schools. No. You find them on a farm? Yes! So cattle is a word that we use to describe a group of maybe cows. Yeah, that's what we use, the word cattle. Can you say it? Cattle. Funnily enough, no, we don't use it to describe a group of cats. Cattle. You would think so, but no. Do you want to have a go at saying the poem with me? Okay. Have a go at saying the words and doing the actions. But what I'll do is I'll take it nice and slow. Unless I get really excited. I love the swing. Okay. For those of you that want to. The Swing by Robert Louis Stevenson. Here we go. How do you like to go up in a swing, up in the air so blue? Oh, I do think it's the pleasantest thing ever a child can do. Up in the air and over the wall till I can see so wide. Rivers and trees and cattle and all over the countryside, till I look down on the garden green, down on the roof so brown. Up in the air I go flying again, up in the air and down. Whew. Did you land here? Did you end up here? Did you finish here? Woohoo! I think I've got time to do it once more. Should we do it once more? Yeah, and then you know the usual. What do I do? That's right, I'll leave the words up at the end. Are we ready? Oh. If you want to. The Swing by Robert Louis Stevenson. How do you like to go up in a swing, up in the air so blue? Oh, I do think it the pleasantest thing ever a child can do. Up in the air and over the wall till I can see so wide. Rivers and trees and cattle and all over the countryside, till I look down on the garden green, down on the roof so brown. Up in the air I go flying again, up in the air, get ready and down. Superb! How was it on your swing? Did you manage to see all of the tops of those houses and all of the cattle? A word for a group of? That's right, moo. And did you manage to do the most pleasantest of things? Yeah, big smile. Oh, I really enjoyed sharing that poem with you. And do you know what? I've got the sun shining on me as well, which is absolutely gorgeous. So I will leave the words up at the end and I will see you very soon, my darlings. Take care. Enjoy your swing. Bye.